Hello, my name is Marcus Ruiz-Evans, founder of the CalExit movement with the book California's Next Century. Recently, Joe Biden was elected President of America, and for many Californians, that's been a choice and a reason to celebrate. But I would like to point something out. Joe Biden won by only around 1%, a majority vote in America outside of California. If you exclude California votes and you look at the total number of popular vote, Joe Biden won about 51.3%. You pull California out, that means just about half of America, slightly under half of America, voted for Trump or did not view Trump as such an existential threat that it was not required to vote for Biden, meaning they were okay with Trump. Biden holds a tiny lead over a majority of the country of America outside of California, and you are attached to those people. In 2016, Donald Trump did win the popular vote outside of California. Again, you pull California out, about half of America voted for Trump in 2016 and again in 2020. That's 2 elections in a row where about half of the country you're tied to said that they support the values of this man or were not that bothered by them. That should tell you everything. Additionally, this week we saw the complete and total failure of the American government to hold a functional election. Many people blame this on Trump, but we in the CalExit movement have been saying since 2014 that America is in a post-constitutional era and that it no longer functions as a government. We certainly didn't predict the events of this week, but we said things like that are going to happen, and we were proven right. America is disintegrating. It doesn't work like it used to. That was evident this Wednesday, and it's been evident to many of us in the CalExit movement for at least 6 years. I shouldn't have to say anything more than America, half of it outside of California, 2 times in a row, felt that Trump was okay. And that is nothing that we can be part of here in California. Additionally, the country of America is disintegrating and cannot seem to function normally anymore. And the idea that Trump voters and supporters are simply just going to go away and learn their lesson, I don't buy it. This man, Donald Trump, said Mexicans are rapists and it was okay to basically rape women. And half the country supported him for 4 years in 2 different elections. Are they really that offended by anything they're doing? We as Californians should not buy this. If you recognize that half of America outside of California doesn't share your most basic and routine values which you used to think everyone shared, and if you think that America doesn't seem to function normally for a while, going back to at least the George W. Bush era, and if you think it is reasonable for humans who will live in one of the world's top 10 economies and in a state that the New York Times routinely refers to as essentially a nation state, and former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton herself referred to as very much like a nation, to be able to explore the idea of what it would take to be a nation, and that it is not wrong for Californians to explore a conversation about how we could achieve being an independent nation from America, given the instability in America and the routine signs that we have always done things how we want here and that we have very different policy ideas in California than America, then we would like to invite you to the board of directors for Yes California CalExit campaign. You do not have to believe that CalExit is the right decision to be on the board of directors of Yes California. But you do have to believe that given that we are the world's 5th largest economy, given that we seem to have policy choices radically different than what people in the Midwest want, given that it's been that way for decades, and given the disintegration that we watch on TV over the last 4 years, and that we saw before that, then that's all that's needed. You have to believe that Californians have the right and that it is reasonable for sane, rational, intelligent people to have a discussion about what if we had to leave? What if we had to take care of ourselves? You do not have to conclude that it is the right decision, but you do have to emphatically feel that Californians have the right to have this conversation and that reasonable people in our situation would believe that it is the right time to have this talk. And you must support Californians having this conversation and raising awareness amongst all Californians that we should have this conversation. If you're willing to do that, we would like to invite you to the Board of Directors for Yes California. The board will be composed of around 85% Californians, along with others who may live outside of our beloved nation here in California, but love us and our values. Currently, we have around 24 board members who have agreed to the terms that I will explain now. The board will be composed of book publishers, lawyers, teachers, and lots of activists who have been working for years with Yes California. We primarily pulled from people who had worked with Yes California and publicly admitted it. We also invited people who were willing to publicly work with Yes California and our very radical at times mission of getting Californians to pay attention to the idea of a future CalExit. We will have board meetings every week on the weekends, typically Sundays around noon, somewhere around there. They will be 1 hour long. We ask that you attend 2 per month, but we understand in activism that life comes first. If things happen and you can't make the meeting, it's not a deal breaker at all, people. It's more a goal. Life comes first in activism, or there is no activism. We in Yes California have said that for years, and we mean it. Every meeting will be about working on completing projects to gain publicity and to raise awareness amongst Californians that we should have this talk. The meetings will be structured like a corporate board, but technically we are not legally officially a board. Rather, we want to run an activist organization dedicated to gaining publicity to the concept of CalExit like a corporate business, and we want the image of being that serious about what we do here every meeting. Every board member can present their ideas on how to gain publicity. Some members work with indigenous groups around California to ask them to say on camera that they, the people who morally own this land, would be fine with a California that leaves America. Another member works with trying to open a foreign embassy to the future independent Republic of California in the nation of Artsakh. Another member wants to open an office in downtown LA dedicated to raising the concept of what an independent California government office may look like to inspire Californians. Another member writes editorials in local newspapers. Another member formed a Facebook group of 100 CalExit supporters and grew it to 500 people, increasing the amount of people who are involved in this conversation. Another member created a doorbell app discussion room so they could engage their local neighbors in conversations about CalExit. And that app only brought in 30 new people, but those were 30 new Californians. Any idea is welcome, any idea to pursue publicity. Another member is routinely working on bringing new people to discuss CalExit in local circles on a one-on-one personal basis. And yet another member is working on making a music video with a professional artist about the idea that California is already a country, my country. Many ideas by many people, all of them aimed at gaining publicity and raising awareness. Some of them small, some of them big, but all of them valuable, and all of them. And that attitude of pursuing ideas to gain publicity and backing up people who have pursued a project that fits for them is what the goal of this board will be. We want to be activists, but we also want to be professional. We want to show an image of getting things done, but we also want to make sure that people know that this is not about negative energy. It's not about criticism. It's about constantly producing ideas and getting things done. Board meetings will be positive events. Now, constructive criticism is welcome and wanted, but negative energy, like questioning the idea of an idea and why we're even talking about it, will not be tolerated. This is a group about helping people who are pursuing publicity projects get help, feedback, aid, and getting that project done better, bigger, and quicker than it normally would be. Obviously, we will have debates about the nature of California, what are the best angles to talk about on why we should secede, and how do you explain concepts such as a donor state to the public in 45 seconds. Those will be debates, and that's why we insisted that the board of directors come from a wide variety of people from many different backgrounds. That range of life experience will come into play during those key debates. But mostly the board is about achieving projects, getting things done, and showing that people in CalExit are reasonable and dedicated and professional. Whatever idea you have, we don't want to tell you no. The meetings are there so that people who have a mind for publicizing ideas can come together and get tips on how to improve those ideas. Negative energy and criticism for the sake of seeming smart is not accepted at the Yes California Board of Directors meetings. Pointing out how to make an idea better, issues that the idea needs to fix are always welcome. We ask that people please dress up for each meeting, or since we are an activist organization, wear the shirt of your CalExit organization you're part of, or any group that you've done real activism for. If you're not going to come looking like in your Sunday best or going for a job interview, please wear a clean activist shirt. We want to have a professional image, but we are about being activists. All meetings will be recorded so that we can share them with the additional 160,000 people who follow Yes California, hoping that they will also want to join the board of directors or be a regional rep or simply start pursuing their own idea on how to gain publicity for this concept and make discussion happen amongst their fellow California nationalists. Just like you, we are not insisting that people believe that California would be better as a nation automatically. But the Californians come to believe that they have the basic right to discuss this option seriously, that being a top 10 nation and having values and policies so radically different from the federal government on many issues, and being attached to a government that seems to at least to not function as well as it did in the recent past, requires reasonable, rational humans to discuss, could we survive alone and how could we do it if we were forced to do that? It's a conversation that's right for us to have. It's a conversation you have to believe that we should have the right to have, and it's a conversation that we think Californians will embrace. If you know other smart people who are willing to have this conversation, please invite them to join the board or to become a Yes California area rep. Each board meeting will be open to the public, but all board meeting members will be given a right to attend each meeting, if space is limited, ahead of anyone else. And all board members have the right to automatically be able to speak on any issue that they want at any board meeting. If you join the board, you to come and speak, present ideas, and get feedback guaranteed every single meeting. That will not be available to people who are not at the board. Questions from the public will not be allowed, and interactions with the public will not be allowed until at the end of the meeting. Meetings are going to be recorded and shared, but they're for board members, not the general public. If you want to be more involved, you have to join the board of directors of Yes California. That being said, the meetings will be public, and we will take some questions at the very end. Priority will always go to people who have been willing to be associated with Yes California and work publicly on raising awareness. Some people who have been in the CalExit movement for a long time were not offered an invitation to join the Yes California Board of Directors. This was not a slight, nor was it intended as a way of insulting anybody. Many people have their own organizations in CalExit. They're 501c3 or some other formal registered group. Because they're registered with the federal government or the Fair Political Practices Office here in the nation of California, they have rules. They cannot be so readily associated with a political organization as nakedly operating as Yes California. For those people, I did not make an offer. Additionally, other people said that they wanted nothing to do with Russia or any baggage to it. I have worked very hard to clean up the baggage created 3 years ago, but I can't do anything about what remains. If you said you wanted to be not associated with anything to do with Russia or any of the rumor mills with Yes California in the past 3 years, I respected your wish and did not make you an offer. Yes California is going to list Louis Marinelli as an official advisor to the board of directors and the president. 23 people who have agreed to be on the board of directors said that this was okay, and believe it is inherently reasonable for Californians to discuss what it would be necessary to do to become a nation, given the factors that I discussed earlier, period. If you believe that this is a conversation that we can have, and you're not horribly offended that Louis Marinelli will be listed as an advisor, given that he helped form Yes California, spent 5 years here, and was cleared from 2 different federal investigations and 1 California political investigation, then I welcome you. For those of you who said that that would be an issue, I did not make an offer. If you feel that I made this an error and you want to join the Yes California Board of Directors, please, approach me and say, I want to be associated with Yes California. I don't care about rumors from 3 years ago. I recognize, Marcus, that you've made a sincere effort to fix it as best as you could. And most importantly, I believe that it has nothing to do with whether or not Californians should pursue independence from America or can have this conversation. Also, some people don't like dealing with other people so publicly and would like to have a higher amount of reclusivity and privacy. Great. We have a job for you. It's called being an area rep. Basically, the idea works like this. We're going to have a map on Yes California. Say someone lives in Fresno, where I'm from, and they want to see if anyone in their area is part of CalExit. They would go to Yes California, pull up the area rep, aka unofficial chapters map, find a map, see a dot for Fresno, and click on that dot. It would say Marcus. No last name, no phone number, no Instagram page. Just someone named Marcus lives in Fresno County or Fresno City. If you'd like to talk to them, then email the portal at Yes California. An email will go from that person to you. We will clear all the craziness and all the spam out. So basically, we're asking for people, if you would be willing to accept an email from another Californian who just wants to talk about the movement. You would not be required to sell CalExit. What we're looking for is what's called normative integration. Simply put, humans are a herd species. If I want to join CalExit and I live in Fresno, the moment that I see there's another person in Fresno who's already in CalExit, and if I can just talk to them for a little bit, and they tell me, yes, there's a real movement and I'm part of it, that's all I need to join the movement. It convinces me that it is safe to talk about this. Normative programming. If you'd like to be an area rep, that's all we're looking for. We would list just your first name and just the city that you live in so that you'd have anonymity. Nobody could contact you directly. They'd have to go through the SCA site, which we would weed out all the craziness. And all you would be expected to do would be to talk to people casually through email about your experiences with the CalExit movement. Not exactly convince them to join. We think that the conversation with you, they will convince themselves. So, offers are for the board of directors to show that reasonable people believe it's okay and sane and rational, given everything going on right now and the history of California's difference from American culture, to have this conversation. If you'd like more anonymity, there's still a place for you. Area rep. Please consider joining Yes California. Please consider approaching us. We have a lot of big things planned, and we're planning to roar into the future.